Hi, everyone. Welcome to Americans for Homeopathy Choice, our pledge drive. Our theme this year is homeopathy for preparedness. And we are here on day 2 of our pledge drive. And I'm so excited to have here Camilla Sherr. She is a wonderful woman, a homeopath. She lives in Tanzania, Africa. They work at Homeopathy for Health in Africa, helping a lot of different people with all kinds of issues. And today she actually has a kind of a niche. She has a little skill set that is really unique, and it's about agri-homeopathy, so homeopathy in the garden, both at the agricultural scale and at the home scale. She has a lot of experience. But before I bring her on, I want to jump in and just kind of remind you about why we're here. We are here because this is a pledge drive. So this is day 2 of our homeopathy for preparedness, ready and resilient. So we're hoping that we will be giving you guys really valuable information about how you can use homeopathy to be, self-sufficient and to be prepared and to have, kind of control over, in this case, your food production. So a big, big thank you to our generous sponsors. Thank you for being here. We have Homeopathy World, National Center for Homeopathy, American Academy of Clinical Homeopathy, International Academy of Classical Homeopathy, Resilience Naturopathic, Hahnemann Labs, Homeopathy Haven, Eden Foods, Taproots, Energique, Glidal. So we're so thankful for all of these wonderful sponsors. And then we want to let you know that Washington Homeopathics gives you 5% off your entire order when you order using the code AFHC 2024. That's all one word, AFHC 2024. That's a coupon code. You get 5% off, and then they give us Americans for Homeopathy Choice a little donation. And they've been doing this, you guys, pretty much since the beginning. We love Washington Homeopathics. They're a wonderful company. Big shout out to today's sponsor. We have Om Pharma, preserving the future of homeopathy. They offer quality homeopathic medicines you can trust, and their focus is to expand homeopathy specifically with professionals. So they are a family-based, purpose-driven company serving the homeopathic community for over 50 years, providing products, services, and education. We think they're a fantastic company. If you're a practitioner and you're interested in getting kits for your clients, or just even helping them get access to different medicines that you're recommending, this is a wonderful pharmacy to work with. We love them. Okay, and don't forget, we have a raffle for day 2. And we like to pick things that are, kind of in theme with us. And so first, you're getting a course called AgriHomeopathy with Camilla Sherr. She donated this today. And if you don't win this, I hope that you guys go to her website, which I'll share when she's here, and get her course in order. I actually have this course. It's so good. It's been so helpful for me. And then you get a mug, you get an heirloom starter kit of seeds that can work all over the US country. And then we have all of these fantastic remedies that are really great. So then we have also just a reminder that we have a shop, and our shop, we sell t-shirts and different kind of paraphernalia that is related to homeopathy choice. And all of these are donations for us. And you can use a coupon code at checkout, Prepare 2024, that ends October 4th. And so this is going to be a great way for you to support us, is by getting some of our merch. And this is the item we're featuring. It's a t-shirt, and these are all soft, like nice t-shirts. This is one of the t-shirts that we sold in the past, and it says, I have a remedy for that. So I love the t-shirt. It's kind of a conversation starter. People see your shirt and kind of ask what's going on. So be sure to use the coupon code Prepare 2024, and that gives you 10% off during checkout. Okay. And we're going to be here all week. Today is Camilla. Yesterday we had Sue. You can watch that replay if you haven't seen it yet. And tomorrow, I'm going to be a speaker with Michelle. We're going to be talking about stocking up homeopathy and beyond, like what we can do to kind of have our our larder, so to speak, stocked up. Then we have Jackie Pierce-Dickens and Chris Oakland. We're talking about animals and homeopathy. And then we have Harula Batista. We love Harula. She's so great. And she's going to talk about homeopathy and infections better than antibiotics. Okay, so without further ado, let me introduce Camilla. I'm just going to kind of read this because I love Camilla. She's actually, I'll confess, she's our family homeopath. We've been working with her for years, and we love her. So homeopathy is not just her profession, it's a lifelong passion and calling. Camilla's journey began with a deep fascination for the mind-body connection and the realization that conventional treatments often miss the root cause of ailments. So her curiosity led her to homeopathy, where she found her true path. After graduating from the Finnish Institute of Homeopathy, she is from Finland, she and completing her postgraduate studies with Dynamis, she spent over 3 decades dedicated to this practice, including teaching in Finland and leading provings of scandium and honey. She lives in Tanzania with her husband Jeremy for the last 15 years, and that has profoundly shaped her practice, especially through her work at Homeopathy for Health in Africa. I mentioned that before. So they're a nonprofit treating HIV/AIDS with homeopathy. She's passionate about AgriHomeopathy, which is why she's here today, and gardening. And she co-developed a really cool, and we actually use these products. It's called Cleel Botanicals, and it's a line of healing beauty products that combine homeopathy with Tanzanian seed oils that are so good for you. My daughter uses it. She's at that age where like the T-zone is a problem, and her contributions to the field have been recognized with the fellowship from the Society of Homeopathy in the UK. She's had the privilege of serving as president of the Finnish Society of Homeopathy from 2020 to 2023. And as she looks into the future, she's so excited to continue exploring new avenues for healing growth, both for herself and those she serves. We are so lucky to have you, Camilla. Go ahead and turn on your camera. I know you stepped away to kind of get a glass of water. Are you back? I just got started. There you are.
Here I am. Yes,
Good.
perfect.
Thank you.
Well
Yes.
done. Well
Yes.
done. And I managed to pay the salaries while you were talking. So that was very, very useful.
You're awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. That's great. Well, good. Well, thank you so much for being here. So let's jump in and talk about homeopathy for the garden. I'm an avid gardener, and I have to say that I, at one point, grew 70% of my food on our 5-acre property. We're now on a larger property. I'm excited to do more. But between our chickens, our milk cow, and my garden, I think the only thing I wasn't growing is like wheat and like rice and beans, like that kind of stuff, but everything else we were growing. So let's start with like, what is your top recommendation for home gardeners? Like, what is the first, if they've done nothing with homeopathy in the garden, what's the first thing they should look at?
First thing is just to do it.
Just
Just to think, just do it. Like, don't think. Don't think, oh my God, I don't have all the instructions. Oh my God, I don't know how to do it. Because homeopathy works exactly the same way for humans, for animals, and for plants.
Mhm.
So the idea is the same, injury, arnica, shock, aconite, cold wind, snow, in the middle
Right,
of the spring,
right,
aconite,
right.
So it's not all that difficult on a first aid level. So of course, if there's like massive issues and you can't solve them by yourselves, then contact me and ask what to do, or
Right,
contact a
right.
homeopath or an agri-homeopath. It can get more complicated, but like on a day-to-day level, first aid level, you can do so much yourself just by knowing a little bit of homeopathy.
I like what you said about first aid level because as a gardener, like I immediately can think of some things. So
Mm-hmm,
when you start transplanting things from a small pot
mm-hmm,
outside to the garden, you have injury to the roots because you're breaking it up as you're kind of transplanting.
of
So would you
course.
do
Yeah,
arnica for that, or
yeah,
or
of
calendula, or
course.
both?
Yeah, you can. So that's it. So you think arnica, you think calendula, you think if arnica doesn't work, and you will see within 24 hours, or overnight, you will see if it works or not. Sometimes you need to give aconite because it's been a shock for the plant more than injury. It's like, oh my God, i'm not in the
How
I'm
dare
not in
you?
the cozy where I was before, and now I'm suddenly in a different environment and I don't like it.
Mhm.
So that's kind of a shock. So then you would try aconite, or if it's really wounds, you can give calendula. So, for example, I give to my garden calendula at the beginning of a growing season or after winter, because you've had all sorts of injuries and damage over winter, and you want the plants to be healthy because all the pathogens, the bacteria, the viruses, the fungi, all of those enter the plant through the wounds. So you want to do an overall healing for the garden. And gardens love calendula. It's one of those calendula, marigold, that whole family. They're used as insect repellents, and people plant them intermittently between between rows of other vegetables.
Mhm.
So
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 that's
I
fun.
always do calendula
So
automatically after.
early season, you're giving everyone calendula. And do you do a
Yeah,
certain potency? Is it 30C or 6C?
do whatever you have. I
Okay.
find I find that 30 is good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you want to affect the soil and you know that you are missing some key ingredients, you know, you're missing potassium, you're missing magnesium,
Yes.
you're missing boron, zinc, selenium, you can find out what your area is famous for in terms of like what is missing. So then
Hmm.
you can add that. It's almost like giving a vitamin or giving minerals, you know, to the earth.
Hmm.
So you're not really healing it, but you're using homeopathic remedies to add into it. So you're
Okay.
actually
So
using homeopathic remedies kind of in an allopathic way.
yes, but you're saying, what potency would you, okay, so I have my garden
Lower, lower,
lower, like cell
lower. So when
salts.
you go, yes,
It's the six,
no, not set. No, I do 12 C's mostly,
12.
and some 6 C's and stuff like that. But I find that cell salts are they are kind of low, you
I
know.
see.
Yeah,
So you're saying give it a little more umph, but not quite the 30C. So you're the sweet
that's
spot.
my look,
Okay,
Paula. That's my experience. But by all means, like I said, try
try it.
it out. If you have the cell salts, pour them in. See what happens. What
Yeah.
you're going to see, what you're going to find is that when you start doing this year after year, your garden just looks better and better.
Hmm.
You know, it just looks vibrant. It's green. It's healthy. Everything is growing. It's wonderful. And it just keeps getting better. So it's amazing. I love it.
Okay, so a few things. Maybe what you can do, especially if you're just getting started gardening, is to do a soil test. In the US, you can take your soil to the local, they call it the Ag Extension office,
Okay.
and they will test it for free. So I would just do that.
Oh,
And if you're
oh,
deficient
that's
in something,
great.
yeah. So
Oh,
if you're
that's
deficient,
fantastic.
it's very, very helpful. And if you're
Mhm.
deficient in something, you can definitely select that cell salt. So let's go through some of the minerals that, okay, so phosphorus, you add homeopathic
So you
phosphorus.
have so the first three are they call it NPK. You have
Yes.
nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. Those are the big three. So those you have to have. You know, without those, there is no nothing grows.
Right.
So, but then you see potassium in homeopathy is called K-lyse. It's all the K-lyse.
Cali.
K-lyse sulf, K-lyse phos, kali carb, kali nit, kali sulf, kali kali silicata. All of those. There's tons of those. So they work really well because then you get the potassium and then you get the minerals. So
If you're
you can do polyphos, not just phosphorus and
mm,
and you can't actually there is no pure Kali because Kali's potassiums they
right.
like to go together with other other minerals. They only
So
have
if you're low on potassium, would you get Cali sulf, Cali phos, Cali nitricums, Cali silica? Would you do all of those and put it in? We'll talk about it
so
later. We'll talk about how to apply it, but
yeah. You see, what I've done is I made for Tanzania. I made two products. I made one called Balanced Soil and another one called Browell, which is basically a fertilizer. And I've put in those two products, I've added all of the ingredients that you need for a good soil. And then because they are in a homeopathic form, the soil in a way chooses what it takes from it. So if it has too much nitrogen, the nitrogen actually negates it. If it doesn't have enough, you're adding it in. It's like a foolproof formula. It's actually unbelievable. So then, so in that balanced soil, I've made my choice of what I think are the best, and it's based on trial and error and what I've experimented on here in Tanzania for the last oof, 15 years now, almost
mhm,
13 years.
mhm,
And then the grow well is more like, okay, now for the growth, you need like a fertilizer. So then
mhm.
you have more of it's like it's different. It adds more
Vitality even.
magnesiums. Yeah, yeah. But those two, they work really well together. So you always start with the soil, you know.
Always start. And
It's a
so
base.
now I guess what you're saying is there's really no formula exactly. Like if you're low in potassium, there's no formula of take these Kali remedies to add. You kind of have to maybe experiment with it. But let's say someone is just brand new. What's the first combination of the Kalis should they try?
Mm, you see, I wouldn't do that without knowing what's happening with the soil or knowing that the soil is depleted. Like if your
Right.
garden is
If their
looking good,
test was low in potassium, I mean.
right. So then you also see, okay, maybe the soil is also low on sulfur. So then you
Right.
give Kali Sal. If you see
I
that the plants are, yeah, if the plants are a little bit not vibrant and pale or reddish, you give Kali Phos,
mm,
etc., etc. I'm in the
got-
middle of writing a book where I'm going into every
thank
single
you.
one, and when you choose this one, and when do you choose this one, and when do you choose
Thank
that
you.
one.
Yes.
But
Okay. That makes sense.
yeah, but sometimes it's like it's complicated because sometimes you don't know exactly, and then you go, oh my god, it's just yellow. Everything is yellow. What am I going to give? And then I just I just used my own products that I made. But you can see if you go on my website, you don't have to buy my products. I've just done it to make it easier for your mother-in-law who doesn't give a
Right.
diddly shit which one she's going to choose. Sorry,
That's
sorry.
okay.
She
What's your
doesn't.
website, Camilla? What's
She
your
doesn't.
website?
It's just CamillaSherrHomeopathy.com.
Okay,
So
perfect. Let's share
you will
homeopathy.
find all the products there, and when you click on them, you will see the ingredients. So you're welcome to just steal the ingredients and make your own concoctions at home.
Mhm.
Try it at home.
You're so
It's
lovely.
yeah, just take it. I'm really an advocate of, I don't want to keep any secrets from people. This is not a secrets of society, and I'm not in it to make money. I just wanted to make it easy because it's sometimes difficult because plants don't talk. So it's sometimes hard to know what is happening. So
Yes.
and also for like Tanzanian farmers, I'm not going to start teaching them agri-homeopathy. That's not going to happen ever. So they have
Busy.
to
Right.
have I make them in 3-liter canisters, and then it says grow well fertilizer. So they know it, or fungaway, you know, fungicide, or
Gotcha.
too hot, too cold, too wet. And then they just take those. And when it's too wet, they use that one. When it's too dry, they use that one. When it's too hot, they use that one. Or insects 1 and 2. You start with
Yeah.
insect 1 and then you go on to insect 2. So I've just done it like that because for ease of use and because it can be tricky sometimes. But by all means, absolutely experiment at home. It's fun. You'll have a good time doing it.
Yes. And I love what you said. So if you're low on potassium, look at the whole picture, which is homeopathy, and see, is it sulfur that you're low on, phosphorus, and then you're selecting kind of based off of that. Now, what if you're low in nitrogen? What are like because I know Kali is the potassium family. Nitrogen, what line of remedies is that?
So the best one is kalinit. So that is kalium nitricum. That's your
Kali nitrogen.
nitrate. Yeah.
Hmm.
So kalinit, you get both of those. So
Okay.
do kalinit, do kalifos, and you're covered for those
Okay.
for the
So that one's
NPK.
a little bit easier. Kali nit, Kali phos. Okay. And
Yeah,
then
just go for those.
NPK, nitrogen, potassium. What's the K again?
That's the potassium,
Oh, that
the
is a potassium.
kalize.
What's the P? P is
Yeah,
the
the
phosphorus. That's
kalinit,
right.
kalifos, kalisalt. Yeah,
Okay. So the P is the phosphorus. Okay.
yeah.
And okay, so then I have another question. I'm composting outside, trying to build soil up. I have 6 piles, and we're turning it. Camilla, it is not cooking fast enough. I could scream. Is there
Mhm.
anything we should be adding to our compost to make that turn into soil faster? Because I'm like very annoyed.
I made a compost accelerator with a New Zealand company. Um, and I'm just trying to remember what's in it. But basically, what I did is I took, biodynamic gardening.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
sure you're aware of it.
Yes.
Yes. So they have certain things that they use as compost accelerators. I took those in potentized form. bang them together, and boom, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
And okay, so now I want to know, where do I get this? I'm ordering it right now. I'm looking, I'm already New Zealand. Okay, I'm looking. Where do we find it?
It's called New Zealand Farm Support.
So naturalfarm.co.nz. Yes, I found
No,
it.
Natural Farm is another one where you can buy it, but there's also another one. That's one. But I can't remember if they have the compost
They
accelerator. There's
do.
another one.
I just found it. Look, is this it?
Oh, okay. Okay, well, there you go. Perfect. Well
Is
done.
this it?
Hmm. And you can buy it in a bigger thing. Okay. Oh, that's
Mhm.
perfect. That's so pretty. I haven't even seen that. That's so cool.
You're so funny.
Yay. I'm
A
so happy
little
I didn't.
goes a long
I've been
way.
working with them, but I didn't know that it had come to this. Yay. I
Okay,
haven't even
everyone
seen that
ignore all the
label.
tabs that I have open. This is like a symbolic of my mind. My mind is, But let me, okay, so that you said they sell a bigger one. What was the other company you were saying that?
Homeopathy Farm Support.
Oh, farmservices.nz. I love them. I've ordered stuff for my cows before from them.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, exactly.
oh,
So
they
they also
offer,
they have a slightly bigger one and liquid more. The other one was, I guess, also liquid.
yes, it
So
was, but smaller,
yeah.
little
So
feature.
so these guys in the farm services, so they do a lot of work with farm animals, cows, sheep, horses, stuff like that. So they have massive fields. So they are catering more for larger fields, and they have larger jars, for
Mhm.
when, for bigger things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
Look at this. Grow well, balance soil, bloom, fung away, grow well, insect away, heated, recover. But I don't see the compost accelerator.
No, I don't see it either. It should
Hmm.
be there, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think it's great. So
Yeah.
when I click on these, do they list the ingredients in case? Let's see.
Mm,
I don't think they do. Mm-mm.
I don't know because this is the first time I'm seeing it.
You're so funny. If I made a product, I want to see, I'd be like, oh my gosh, but you're
I
such.
know, but this has been in the cooking for so long. So
Yeah.
if you go on my website and you click on Rooted, you will see all the ingredients.
So Camilla Sherr Homeopathy. And we like to support these companies. So if you can order from them, that's great. So let's see, AgriHomeopathy, boom. And then here we have all the products and it's coming up. Just be patient. So, oh, I see. They're all there. The full
Mhm.
range. So, wow, you could really
Yeah.
get to several places. And so so it's rooted.
And this links to Roots and Wings in Ireland. So I'm trying to make them available for people across the globe because I
Mhm.
really, really, what I really want, Paula, is for everyone to use homeopathy on their farms and gardens because I really feel that it is the next step. That's where we need to go. We
Yeah.
the era of pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, weed killers, Roundup is finished. We cannot go there anymore. We are killing the soil. We are killing
Yeah,
ourselves. We are
absolutely.
and now go and click on Too Hot and see where it takes you.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah,
So it takes you out of your website to Roots and Wings Homeopathy,
exactly. And now click on balanced soil.
balanced soil. Okay. Oh, and there you have it.
And there's your list.
These are all 12C, you're saying?
Um,
And no, they're probably all
no,
different.
they are not. No, they're not all 12C.
That's okay
But
though.
we are not giving out all of our
Yeah, that's
secrets.
okay.
So
That's all right. Yes, you did all the research
yeah,
and that's okay. So then, okay, Bloom Frozen. I'm looking for the compost one.
it's not here.
It's
It's not
not
here.
yours.
I haven't made it with the Irish one. I've only made it
I
with that New Zealand one.
I
Yeah,
see. Okay. Okay. Well, this is great. That was
that's
like
product
three different
development.
websites with resources. We've got Camilla Share.
Yeah,
The other one was oh, what is it called?
Roots and Wings
Roots and
and
Wings. Yep. Then you have
Natura Farm.
farmservices.nz. Yep. And then we had also that one where I think that's the only one I found was Natural Farm, PHARM.co.nz is that compost accelerator. So let's get back to that. I have your compost accelerator, and how do I apply it to my compost? Hi,
So
Jeremy.
you mix it with water, and then
Mhm.
you pour it on. That's
So
how
I
you do it.
have a garden sprayer, like it's for pesticides, but I of
You
course
don't
don't.
need
You don't need a garden
you
sprayer.
don't need that one. You don't need that one. You don't need that much. In homeopathy, less is more.
So
You
just
really don't need
put it
like
in a glass of
massive,
water and put it over your compost, basically.
yeah, throw it in.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I am so frustrated because I'm like, I need to not buy dirt because it's expensive. And so I'm trying to compost it myself and I have the formula and I did it all well, so that's been
Yeah.
frustrating. Okay.
And another great way to compost really fast is to make a worm garden. That's
Yes.
not, yeah. I've got one of those. I have an old ancient bathtub, and I got someone to make a frame, like an iron frame for it, and then the bathtub hangs over it. And where the hole is for the water to drain, under that is a bucket with a lid on. So then it's full of worms and compost, and I put, the compost that doesn't go to the chickens, I put in there, or I divide it sometimes. And then you also add organic matter, leaves, blah, 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 you can add in. And then what drops out into the bucket is called worm tea. And you dilute that. I dilute it 1 to 4. And then you can water your plants with that. It's amazing. It's like liquid gold. And that thing composts so fast. And you
Yep.
you put like something to cover it. So you underneath you have a net. I put an old mosquito net at the bottom. I put all the stuff on top. I got worms from my friend. He gave me a starter pack of worms. Poured it all in. Then I put an old door on top of it so that the birds don't come and eat all the worms. And
Mm.
and it gets nice and hot also under the cover, you see. Because if you have it out in the open air, it never gets that cooking. It's a little bit like sitting there under the door and in that space.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's really
Well,
fun. But yeah,
so I live somewhere where it's very cold. What I did is I had an old freezer that had died and I hired someone to remove all the components, the Freon, whatever. But you have this
mhm.
really nicely insulated box. And I laid
Hmm.
it on its back and I did my worm compost in there. And we're still in the beginning stages of it. So I haven't gone through a winter with it yet. But we did our worm compost in there to kind of keep them insulated and warm and cozy and
Hmm.
surviving winter, you know.
But what about, but
And
you still need, yeah, you need the
there's a
drain.
drain
Yeah.
because if the
Okay.
fridge
Oh,
ever melts or whatever, you to drain it out.
perfect. Yeah.
But even if you
Very
don't have
good.
it in your fridge, it's not hard. Once the components are out, it's not hard to drill a hole, put
Yeah,
a spout.
exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, but it
And you
has to
build
have
the
that.
frame
Otherwise they
just
drown.
Yeah, you
If-
build the frame just so that everything is running down towards the thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so worm composting is a really big deal. There's red wigglers, there's entire programs. I order a lot of Amazon packages for, we're setting things up on our homestead. I got a really nice box shredder on Amazon. I shred the box and I have literally 2 trash bins full of shredded boxes. And
Mhm.
that's to kind of create the bedding to get started.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it works
Perfect.
great. It works really
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the NPK, the soil testing. It's so cool that you have all those products. The compost accelerator, the worm garden. Let's talk about like what is the one remedy that gardeners should have? Oh wait, actually, let's do this. I need to say this. Okay, we're gonna take a commercial break real quick, and we're gonna meet a member of our homeopathy action team, and I'm so excited to introduce her to you. So let's jump in and meet our gal. Okay, everyone, I am so excited. I'm here with Sally Nikolic. Am I saying that name right, Sally?
That's fine. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So she's a member of our homeopathy action team, and she is here to share her story. And I've already heard her story, and it's so inspiring. I know you guys are gonna love it. So go ahead, take it away.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Well, my story kind of starts way back. I spent 4 years earning a degree in economics, excuse me, my BA, and then spent 10 years climbing the corporate ladder at a large financial services company. During that time, I went to 4 years of night school to get my MBA in entrepreneurship. And then I started a consulting company that I grew to about 50 employees over about a 15-year time period. And it was during the last 2 years of that I got very, very sick. Now, mind you, at the time, my life was perfect. It was the way I wanted it to be. I had a successful business. I was married. I had twin boys. And all of a sudden, it seemed like out of nowhere, I got really, really sick. And so I went to my doctor, and I grew up in a very Western medical family. I have two sisters who are nurses who work at hospitals. I wasn't opposed to things beyond conventional medicine. I just never really had the opportunity to try them. So I went to my doctor. And I told
Right.
her
You
I had
didn't need it up until then. And so now you're like, yeah.
exactly, exactly. So I went to her and I told her I had three major symptoms. The first was chronic acid reflux, the second was deep bone pain, and the third was extreme lethargy. Now, the first one, the chronic acid reflux, I would have acid reflux like 20 to 25 times a day. It would
Um,
wake me up 4 to 5 times every night, so I never got a chance to get a good night's sleep.
ah,
I would sometimes have to get up and leave a business meeting mid-sentence because I felt like I was having a heart attack. My second major symptom was deep bone pain. And it had gotten to the point where I would try to play basketball with my boys out in the driveway, and they had to hand me the ball so I could shoot it because it was too painful for me to bend over and pick it up. And my third major symptom was extreme lethargy. For 2 years, I did not want to get out of bed. Now, I did get out of bed because I was a parent and I had 50 employees and their families, and all these people were relying on me getting out of bed,
yeah.
but I didn't want to. And so I went to,
So
my
hard.
doctor, and
I mean, being an adult is hard enough. Like I'm amazed at how hard it is to be an adult. I'm
you
always like,
know,
this is way harder than I thought it would be when I was a teenager. But to have the regular life challenges with this health stuff, it truly breaks my heart. It strains marriages, it strains relationships with our kids, it strains relationships with us at work. Like it's devastating when this
yes,
happens
I know
hard.
you understand.
I do. I mean, I think so many of us do relate because it's devastating and it's anyways, so keep going.
Yeah. So, so anyways, I went to my doctor and I went to all the specialists she referred me to, the gastroenterologist. I had, cameras put down my esophagus and my stomach. I had x-rays done. And, basically she did what, was in her toolbox, if you will, with
Sure.
as
Yeah.
a Western medical doctor. She gave me a prescription for each of my major symptoms. And for the acid reflux, she would give me a prescription and I'd take it and it would help for a short period of time. And then the symptom would come back even worse. And then
Yeah.
she'd give me a stronger prescription and then it would help for a short period of time. And the symptom came back even worse. And it just kept going on and on.
And
Um,
that's okay. So real quick, my dad had acid reflux and he
oh,
was put on omeprazole.
okay.
And I told him to read the side effects. Long story short, we were both basically like, it causes dementia. Like this is before they knew it causes dementia, but
Yeah.
the side effects, they're the sum of all their parts. I'm like, this is dementia. So he was like, I don't want dementia. So he stopped. And your body has this is it called the rebound effect? Because
Yeah.
when you have acid reflux, your body hates it. So it's fighting, 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 and trying to get it under control, ultimately failing, but trying. Then when you stop, it's like your body was asleep and it just like comes back worse than ever.
It does. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a suppression basically
Yeah.
of the symptom, and then it comes back stronger.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and after about 2 years of this, the Western medical community told me there's nothing more they could do for me. So it wasn't that I was gonna die, but I had no quality of life.
Yeah.
And so I went out and I just randomly started trying things. I tried it all. I went to a chiropractor, I went to a naturopath, and did supplements, and I did herbal medicine, and I went to an acupuncturist and someone who did cranial sacral, and I tried essential oils, and I mean, you name it, I tried it. And I did get some palliative, healthy palliative relief from many of these modalities, but none of them stuck. They didn't solve my problem for me until somebody referred me to a classical homeopath. Now, I knew nothing about homeopathy at the time. I'd heard of the word, that was it.
Right.
but I was literally willing to try anything. And so I went to her, and it took 3 tries for her to get a homeopathic medicine that was working for me. And as many
Which
of
is,
you know, that's not unusual.
no, it's not unusual. And it's actually very helpful because if it was placebo, it would
Yeah,
have worked the first time.
exactly.
You know, and so when I tell my story to staffers on the Hill, I make sure to say, because that same thing with me, we took 3 tries.
Yep,
And so then, so then the hope that it's going to work is just reduced every time you have to try again. So
it's
mhm,
true. But again, I was so desperate. I was like,
yeah.
I'm going to hang in there if she thinks there's a chance. Um, but when I got that third one, the one that started to resonate with me, the first thing I noticed was that I wanted to get out of bed in the morning. And that
Yeah,
was a huge deal for me because for 2 years I had not wanted to get out of bed.
so much going on. Yeah.
Yeah. And then slowly over time, my acid reflux started to become less frequent and less severe. A couple months into the treatment, I was able to sleep through the night, which was a huge deal for me.
Right.
The bone pain started to become less and less. It wasn't gone right away, but
No.
I was able to start being more active and do more of the things that I enjoy. And over about a 2-year time period and different remedies along the way, I healed, and I don't have, fast forward 15 years now,
Oh,
I
wow.
don't have acid reflux. I don't have bone pain. I downhill ski. I water ski. I play basketball in the driveway if I want to.
Wow.
Um, you know, I I love getting up in the morning. Um, and so I healed. And so during that process, I was like, what in the heck is this and why doesn't everybody know about it?
I know.
So I started to do some of my own research. And
The hugest mistake is that we as a society have is, oh, if it's safe, the government wouldn't do X. If it was that good, we would all know about X. And that's a huge mistake. But it's kind of normal to think
it's
that
a
way.
misconception. Yeah. So, I was a business owner at the time. And so when I started to do my research about healthcare history in this country, I
Mhm.
was like, oh, this totally makes sense. Symptom management, which is a large part of Western medicine, not all of it, but it's a large part, is a very profitable business.
Mhm.
Healing is not.
Yeah.
I live in the United States of America. I totally understand how this happened.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I was
And
telling you, the most profitable thing in the US is a sick child, right? Because
isn't that sad?
it's so sad. It's
Yeah.
so sad.
So, anyways, after I discovered that, I was already thinking I might be ready for a career change.
Oh,
And
really?
so I chose to go back to school for 4 years for the third time and earned a diploma of classical homeopathy. And the thing I couldn't believe it. Like when I started research, I'm like, how do you even become a classical homeopath?
Yeah, like the
And I
heck?
discovered that Northwestern Academy of Homeopathy, like one of the best schools in the United States, if not in the world, was 20 minutes from my house. And
Wow.
this was before the time of everyone
That's
learning via
great.
Zoom and everything, so
Yeah.
having a location nearby was really helpful. And I'm like, I think this is meant to be. So, yeah, so I went back to school, and I'm now going to be starting my 10th year of practice, and I help people heal from chronic health conditions.
That's
I
amazing.
don't think I'll ever retire from this profession. I'll do it part time later on, but I'm going to be that 85-year-old who is still seeing clients because it is such a rewarding career to
Yeah.
help people heal and to get their life back, because I know what it's like to not have quality of life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah,
I
and so
love
this
that. I knew a gentleman, it was my friend's uncle that was a homeopath. And
okay,
he's very elderly now and not able to take clients. He's
okay,
he's not all there anymore. But
okay.
but he practiced until the very end of when he couldn't anymore. And he said, retirement is for people who don't like their jobs. That's what he always said.
Yeah, I know, it's true. It's like if you love what you're doing, why would you not continue doing it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, I have now that we do have Zoom meetings and everything, I have clients
Right.
all over the country. I have a lot of I'm based in Minnesota, so I have a lot of people here in Minnesota too.
Sure.
But, yeah, I love what I do, and, why do I volunteer for Americans for Homeopathy Choice?
Yeah. Right. Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Right.
that yeah, that's why we're here, right?
Sure.
I think back to what if even one of those remedies that helped me heal had become unavailable? I don't know what my life would be like now. It just it literally can bring tears to my eyes to think if that could have been happening when that remedy hadn't hurt anybody. And I think about all of the clients that I'm able to help because homeopathic medicines are available. And I never know which one I'm going to need of like the 3,000 plus that are available out there. So it's very, very important to me to make sure that they stay legally available to everybody, both on an acute basis, just for a parent, and for us classical homeopaths who are helping people with their chronic conditions. It's yeah, I when I volunteer, I'm I really think about where I'm going to spend my time. And this is something that is worth my time. And so I make sure I make the time for it every month. And especially around the times that we need to be meeting with our legislators, because it's going to make a huge difference. I know we're already making a difference, but
It
we're
is.
going to make a difference for the long term
We are.
for all of our kids, our grandkids, our grandparents, whatever, so that they can lead healthier lives and have higher quality lives like I've been able to do because homeopathic medicines were available when I needed them.
Yeah, that's right. There's this gal I follow on Instagram. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Anyways, doesn't matter. She's in California still, and they they w- they were so they had taken away the exemptions for this religious and philosophical, so that was gone out of California, and all they had left was medical exemption. And this is something that you had to prove there was damage, or that you had to prove there was a genetic test that was positive that you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And so they were taking it away. And what happened was they ended up basically, oh, Scout is running off. Scout. Oh, my dog, he's running off. If yell real loud, he'll come back. So anyways, they basically were in the state legislature passing this thing. And the mothers had flooded Capitol Hill, thousands of them, a couple thousand of them at least. And they had basically changed the time that they were going to have the discussion for the vote. They kept changing the rooms, just all this foolishness to try and make it so the moms couldn't find them. And they finally find the room, that they were going to have this discussion in. And a few of the moms did get in, but they locked the doors and barricaded it with police.
Whoa.
And oh, here's Camilla. And they barricaded it with police, and they would not let the mothers in, which is against our constitutional rights. They should let the mothers in, and that's constitutional right. And they wouldn't let them in. And so these mothers, they were like, this is our house. We elected them. They're supposed to represent us. So they started, they were all around this room, and they started banging on the walls, let us in. And they started banging on the doors. And there was women that had gotten inside, and they said they were so loud, nobody could hear them. The discussion on the inside.
Hear their own
discussion because they just yelled and banged and yelled and banged. And like, you watch this video, that gave me chills, because you watch this video and there's children. The mom brought their kids. Some of the moms brought their kids, and they're just like sitting there next to their mom, and they're just like,
Yeah.
In the end, the sad part is, in the end, they did pass this law, but that's unfortunately California, political state right now. But I just thought, like, that's how you do it. And I just feel so honored to be part of this movement with people like you, because I just feel like this is the right thing to do. Like, those kids, look at those moms in California that they did that, and that they continue to show up, and I really feel, and we have guys on our hat team too. So if you're a guy listening to this, don't feel like it's just a mom thing.
Yeah.
You're very, very welcome. We love you too. But I do feel primarily it's mothers that are going to save the health of their families and the health of American families.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right.
Yep. All right. Well, any closing thoughts before we get back to our interview with Camilla?
If somebody is not a HAT team member yet, I highly encourage you to do so. There is a lot of support and training available. It might seem overwhelming at first, but once you get into it, it's fine. And if you're in a state like like in Minnesota, it's like we shepherd in the new people, you know, we're on all the calls with them. They're never by themselves. And it's a lot of fun, and it takes a lot less time than you think. Once you've done it a couple of
Right.
times, it can be very efficient, but it's very rewarding work.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thank
well,
you for all you do,
thank you.
Camilla.
Oh,
I'm so honored to be part of the organization that you're leading, and you are an inspiration to all of us.
thank you so much. Well, we have an amazing team. It's definitely not a team of one here. So we have a
Yes, I know, but you're the leader. You're the one who started it all.
You're sweet. Well, thank you so much. Well, thanks for being here, Sally. We'll see you later. And you're
Right.
welcome to stay and listen to my discussion with Camilla, but if you have to skedaddle, that's fine too. So, all
Okay, take care.
right, we'll see you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, we're back with Camilla. Camilla, it's so good to be with you. This is so great. Okay, this is the question I have for you now is if there is one starter remedy that we should start with as gardeners with homeopathy, what would that remedy be? Now, people tell me it's silica. Is that true or is it something else?
No, it's silica,
It is.
100%.
Okay.
Completely. That's the one remedy that you want. If you only choose one, it's silica. And silica is just brilliant because it's what gives the plants grit, stamina. Like it makes the seedlings strong to grow. It makes the leaves bigger. It makes your yield bigger in size and in quantity. It's amazing, and there's a lot of research done on silica, and it's the simplest thing to do. I planted some things, and I watered some with just water and some with silica, and the difference is phenomenal.
Really?
So it's
How
like
often are you doing
it's
it?
a no-brainer.
Okay.
Not often. You have to be careful with silica. So you give
Exactly.
it when you have seedlings. You give it when you don't know what to give. But you give it once to your seedlings or a couple of days in a row, which counts as one dose. But you don't take a break and then give it again, because then it actually inhibits the growth.
Oh, interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
you're
So
saying
some
beginning of
people
the
use
season.
it. Some people use it, they say it's good as a weed killer. I haven't actually managed to kill any weeds with silica, but the philosophy is there. So, but you give it at the beginning of the growing season, and then if you see that there's some problems, really often if you just give it in the beginning, it just carries on, and you just have an amazing yield. And it's also really good against drought. It makes the plants retain water better. It makes them grow bigger. It makes them thrive, and it makes them strong to repel insects and predators and pests.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So I've read that, in the beginning in the spring, the plants are pulling up all of their sap and their nutrients because they're getting their leaves back. So you do it early in the season. You certainly don't do it at the end of the season because that's when they're pushing down all their sap and everything, and their leaves are going to die. And the silica is supposed to be drying it up. So it'd be like it's counterproductive because it's pushing down the sap and you're giving silica, which is supposed to pull it up, right?
Exactly. So there's no reason to give it at the end of the season. At the end of the season, what you want to do is you want to prepare your garden for the winter. So that's when you want to give antisoric remedies.
Right.
Meaning you want to give
Yeah.
remedies like sulfur, cuprum. Those are the main two remedies that I give at the end of the growing season, because those give you a much better year next year.
So
It's
you're
almost like it's almost like when you treat allergies, seasonal allergies, and you give your Sabadilla and you give your Nux vomica, Pulsatilla and Wyethia and whatnot. But then you need to treat the person while those problems are not happening. So it's the same thing with your garden. When it goes into dormant stage and the growing season isn't happening, and you're not treating those insects, and you're not treating that fungus, and you're not treating that injury, then in that sort of quiet time, you give deep acting remedies.
Interesting.
Like sulfur, like
so you're saying, yes, sulfur. Go on.
those are the main two.
Cuprum?
Sulfur will stop your garden from having so many insects next year. And cuprum is a great antifungal remedy. And those two together are also great antifungal remedies. So you will have less fungal infestations and you will have less pests and insects and things like that.
So 30
in
seed
your
both
next
of them
growing season.
when things are starting to
No,
die.
yeah, I do 12
12C.
or 30.
Yeah, you like the 12C. Yeah.
Yeah.
12C for both. And then and you're doing it like when you're done harvesting, when you're ready to put everyone to bed for next year, you spray it, you kind of mist it over them. And that's really fantastic. I really like that. And I was going to ask you something. So yeah, you're doing both. You're not selecting one versus the other. You're doing both. That's really interesting. And that's important to know. If you're going to be doing AgriHomeopathy, it is not an immediate response. You're really in there for the long game. You're in there to do an application this year, and next season you're going to be seeing improvement. Is that true, or
No,
is it?
no.
Oh,
You really
really?
can have an immediate. No. You can have an immediate response, like if you're treating aphids. Aphids
An
are a little bit
infection.
like. No. They are little animals.
Right.
Aphids,
But
they're
like
like
it's like an
tiny little.
infection. Yeah.
No, it's more like head lice,
I see.
parasites.
Infestation. Yeah.
It's yeah. So you would like aphids on roses, for example. Cimicifuga, amazing. They go away in 1 day. They're gone. 2 days, you see 2 left.
I get aphids
They
on
are
my
gone.
collards, under the leaves of the collards. I'll get it.
Yeah. So Cimicifuga is one of the remedies. There are a couple of other remedies as well, but you give that. And then let's say, and you see a very quick response. And you should see a quick response. You're not waiting for weeks. You want them gone. Just like you're not going to watch head lice for weeks and weeks. You want them gone quickly, right? So
Yes.
that's the same thing with plants. If you have lots of snails in your garden, you're not going to wait till the next growing season to get rid of those. No, you want them gone, like ASAP gone. Or they're going to eat all your cabbages and lettuce and whatnot. So you expect a quick response with those. And if you don't get it with the remedies that you're giving, you change. Like in acute disease, you change. You don't wait around. But then at the end of the season, you give the sulfur, you give the cuprum, so that next year you're going to be better off. Yeah. So you are in it for the long haul, but you can also treat acute infestations and acute problems, just like with humans, just like with animals. We are doing the long haul battle of chronic disease and trying to get better, and long term better. But we also do, if someone is sick and they have COVID or the flu or whatever, it's an acute, or they get a burn, or they get a fright. You give remedies.
That's fantastic.
They're acute, quick situations. Exactly the same with plants.
Just depending on what it is. Okay, so let's talk about some conditions. Blossom end rot on tomatoes. People love growing tomatoes. Blossom end rot on tomatoes, usually a calcium deficiency, right?
Yeah.
And so we do calc carb?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
12C.
Much better, much quicker than crushing eggshells, and it takes forever. I mean, obviously you crush eggshells and you put them in your compost, but it's not going to help that tomato. It's not quick enough. It's not good enough. Calc carb, problem solved. It's fabulous.
And sometimes,
in fact, if you've had that problem like last year and now you're growing tomatoes again, give it already. Give the calc carb already in the beginning.
Well, and I was going to say, sometimes you soil test and the mineral is there. Sometimes your garden is not deficient in calcium, but the plant is not assimilating and using it. And that's
which is why you give the silica, because silica is the best remedy for getting all the nutrients to be absorbed into the system, whether it's a human, whether those babies that are totally like floppy and they have no grit. We see them a lot in Tanzania, and some are malnourished, but some are just not assimilating what they're given. And silica is like immediately, the plant is able to do that. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay. All right, let's think of a couple of other things. Okay, so changing weather, is that typically aconite if there's like a cold snap,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
and when you think everything's dying, like you're like, "Oh my gosh, we had a freeze. I didn't cover everything. I didn't know."
Hmm.
They still might die, but it's worth a try. Is that aconite?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It
And then
is.
same thing for heat. A heat wave has come through and everyone's kind of, "Oh, that was a lot. That was really hot." Is
Mhm.
that belladonna?
Yeah, belladonna is one of the remedies. You can also give arsenicum. You can also give, if it's a longer heat thing and you can see that the leaves have actually burnt,
Like
you
a
give
month long.
cantharis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I've made a product called Too Hot that is a combination of those. It has sol in it, and I have a lot of um, um, I don't know what you call them, students, follows, or whatever, who live in tropical conditions like in Florida. And they
Mm-hmm.
just give the Too Hot when it just is too hot. And
Mm-hmm.
the difference in the garden is astonishing,
Really?
really astonishing.
They just tolerate it better. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, because it's
Mm.
all about tolerance. Health is
Mhm.
about being dynamic. The more
Yes.
dynamic you are, the more adaptable you are, the more able to withstand various conditions you are, the healthier you are, whether you are a human, whether you are a cow, or whether you are a apple tree.
Yes. Absolutely. I love it. Whether you're a human or cow or an apple tree. And I read an article once about how, we kind of see plants as these like they have no brain, therefore they don't have any decisions, But I read this article once about how they are somewhat sentient in the sense that they decide, am I going to put my root this way or am I going to put my root that way? Am I going to
Completely,
turn what is it?
completely true. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
they talk to each other. Tomatoes, and they make this sound, this like a popping sound, like popcorn, when they are too dry. Yeah,
Mm.
they've recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if there's an amazing book called The Mother Tree, which is all about, it's a beautiful book. And it just gives you that understanding of how diversity, it's so important. What there used to be a philosophy in the 80s and 90s and up till actually now, where people were saying it's all about um, that plants are fighting for space and sun and light and
Mhm.
nutrients. And it's all a jungle out there, and they're all just competing for everything. And the ones who get it best, they grow the tallest and the biggest and the best. But it's not true. So you have some trees that they give shade to the younger ones so that they can grow, and then they give them nutrients that they need when they are young. But because they only have their growth later on in the summer, then they get it back from those ones that they gave it to in the beginning of the season. There's a whole system happening there where it's all based on helping each other out and a symbiosis. And I think that we should actually learn from that as humans, that we are we should do the same thing. We should help each other out. We should,
Yeah.
if we know that something is great and something works, we should share it and not hold on to it. We are not here to compete on this planet. It's not about who is the best, who is the fastest, who is the tallest, who is the most wonderful, who is the most beautiful, who is the most intelligent. No, it's not about that. It's about community. It's about lending a helping hand. It's about sharing resources, knowledge, and all of that kind of stuff. And for that, Paula, I'm really grateful for what you do with your organization and how you are spreading homeopathy, because that's what it's about. It's about telling each other, sharing information of how to be better, how to be healthier, and how to live a better life.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I found the book. I think it's called Finding the Mother Tree by Suzanne Simard. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That, yep.
It sounds fantastic. And I think that's what, we really kind of discount these other living beings, these, other life
Mm-hmm.
and I think what's so beautiful about homeopathy is it really drives you to connect and to think and to think about how you can help your garden. Okay.
Well,
So
you
yeah,
do a proving of pulsatilla. It's a flower, and it's a flower that is feels forsaken. It wants company. It doesn't want to live alone. That's the kind of a plant it is. So it is sentient. So all we have to do is look
absolutely.
at the provings to just see that
To
they
see that
are
it's there.
sentient.
I never thought
Everything
about it
is
that way.
alive.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. That's
Hmm.
really great. Well, let me think. Okay, let's do one more tip and then we'll wrap it up for today.
When you harvest, give
Okay.
your tomatoes, your potatoes, your apples, your pears, give them a dose of arnica the day before you harvest. You will have much less bruising, much less damage, and
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
that will increase your yield by like 20% straight away.
Well, and also it not only increased because what you mean is when you store it, if it's
That's what I
bruised,
mean.
you're losing
Exactly.
it. So
Exactly. So you get 20% more. And that tip is worth money, my friends.
yeah, you can take that to the bank. I love
Yeah.
that. Fantastic. Oh wow. Okay, great. Well, Camilla, I'm about to buy I really am. I'm not saying this for everyone to do it. I'm going to buy your full range kit because I want it. I'm going to look at this. I'm here on the website, the Natural Farm. I've emailed them because I don't think I can buy it. The compost accelerator because they don't seem to ship to the US. So I will message them and maybe kind of give everyone an update on the pledge drive. But
Okay.
yeah, I think it's
Cool.
fantastic. So very good. Well, thank you
That's
for taking
great.
the time to be with us. I know you're very busy, so we really appreciate it.
Well, it's my Friday night. So right now, after this, I'm going to go and have a glass of wine and I'm going to get ready for the weekend. And
Oh, very good.
we've just had volunteers here in Tanzania for 2 weeks and we've been on safari with our guests. And I really feel like I need a weekend. So that's
Yes,
what I want to have.
good. So you kick off your weekend. Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with
Thank
us.
you for
We love you.
inviting me, Paula.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed day 2 of our pledge drive, Homeopathy for Preparedness, Ready and Resilient. This was such an informative episode to learn about how we can use homeopathy in the garden. So a big thanks again to Camilla Sherr who prepared her comments for us today. All right, you guys, we were talking earlier with our Homeopathy Action Team member. We have opened the Homeopathy Action Team. We would love for you to join. We really need you to step up. We have some very exciting things very much around the corner. It is go time. We are looking forward to finalizing our bill draft and working on getting some members of Congress to introduce that. So it is very much all hands on deck. We are so grateful for all of you guys who have stepped up in the past. If you have been on the HAT team, please consider coming back. If you've never been on the HAT team, we'd love to have you join us. We have an amazing coordinated program to help you just jump in and feel confident. And a big thanks to our current HAT members who we love so much. Okay, a shout out to Om Pharma, our sponsor for today, Preserving the Future of Homeopathy. You can learn more about them at ompharma.com. Finally, we are ready to announce our Day 2 raffle prize winner. Now, because the show is pre-recorded, you can actually go to our website for this pledge drive and find out who won today. Now, this person is winning Camilla Sherr's AgriHomeopathy course. You're getting a Homeopathy Choice mug, a starter kit of seeds that work all over the country, and then all of these fantastic remedies, several of which Camilla mentioned in her recording, in her session today. And you can go to homeopathychoice.org fall-2024-pledge-drive, or you can just go to our homepage and it will direct you to our pledge drive page. And we will be posting the winner of that prize there on that landing page for this drive. And then this is a pledge drive, so we do have a goal of $45,000 by the end of this week. We really do need this, not only for our operating costs, and we do work on a very tight shoestring budget, but we also are working so hard on getting this bill introduced in Congress, and we have identified some help on Capitol Hill, a team that will help kind of augment our grassroots team, which is the heart of everything that we do here. And so we would love and be so grateful for any amount that you can donate. Now, tomorrow we're kind of doing something different. We've never done this before, but Michelle, who's kind of the behind the scenes gal of all of our pledge drive, and myself, we're both going to be speaking tomorrow. We're going to be talking about how we can kind of stock up homeopathy and beyond as far as preparedness goes, because of course homeopathy is a big part of our preparedness, but it's not the only thing. And then we're going to have more speakers tomorrow and into Friday.